Most new gardeners waste hundreds of dollars on grow lights and a whole setup for seed starting indoors when they first start. And a lot of them are going to fail just because they don't follow a few simple rules. I'm going to show you my entire seed starting setup that's right here in my laundry room and how I can produce successful seedlings for the last 4 years. We're going to use cheap Amazon LED, a rack from Rural King, and a little oscillating fan that I got from Dollar General. The whole thing costs way less than any fancy seed starting setup you're going to get anywhere else. And it gives me strong, healthy seedlings every year without any synthetic additives. Let me show you exactly how I've got this set up. This is my laundry room. Nothing glamorous at all. What it does really well is stay right around 70 degrees pretty much all the time. And that makes it the perfect place to start seeds indoors. Let's start with the rack. This is a heavy-duty black rack that I picked up from Rural King. It's got a total of 5 shelves on it. We typically only have to use 2, but this year we're going to have a third and fourth one. I went with this style because it's a heavy plastic. It's going to take a long time for it to break down, and each of those shelves hold about 1,000 pounds apiece. Allegedly, haven't tried it, but it holds enough weight for us to do about 140 seed starts and then add on all of my lovely sweet potato starts, mint in a little pot, onions for days, plus 2 little buckets of leeks. Once you add all that, plus the lights, you really don't want something that's flimsy going with a heavy duty. I think we paid maybe $60 for this rack by itself, but we've moved it. It doesn't really wobble. It stays in place really well. It seems to be the perfect setup for us right now. And what's super great about this is the whole thing fits right in the back of our laundry room. It's pretty well out of the way. Now let's talk about the lights, because that's where most people are going to overcomplicate this. These are simple LED lights that I grabbed off Amazon. They are not high-end brand name grow lights. They're basically bright white LED shopper grow lights, and for seed starting, that's all you really need. 4 of these lights are going to cost you about $28 to $30. It depends if you get the 2-foot or the 5-foot. When you're getting your lights, make sure you have an accurate measurement, because the 5-footers ended up being way too long. I wanted the overhang, but not that much overhang. Plus, with the 2-footers, it actually gives us plenty of outward light towards the ends where I have the overhang for the 5-footers. Even the plants on the outer edges seem to grow well, which is why we went with a 3 lights instead of 2 per rack. When we were doing the 2, the outer plants were suffering. I ended up putting the 2 on the outer and 1 through the middle, and that seems to be the perfect ratio of light to every plant. Total for each shelf, we're talking about maybe $30 in lights compared to those $200 or $300 grow setups. This is very budget friendly. We actually put a link in the description if you want to check these lights out specifically. For seedlings, the main thing we're after is enough brightness to keep them from stretching. You hear a lot of talk about red and blue spectrum and all of that, but just for getting strong, stocky seedling, bright white LEDs like this do the job beautifully. We're going to have to move down a little bit, and I'm going to show you exactly how I hang these to make it where they're adjustable with just paracord instead of having to buy all the fancy pulleys and whatnot. We already have one set up from last season where I started thinking we were going to, and then ended up not having to. What I did realize today is, as high as that is, we actually need it to be about 4 inches above these seedlings right here. Because the way they're tilted, you can tell in the Swiss chart at the back is tilting as well, that we don't have enough light coverage to keep them growing straight up. Because when you're putting the lights above them, you want them directly above them where they're looking straight at the light. So what we're going to have to do is get the wider. So when you're dealing with this paracord or sagen, like I use for this, if you just cut it, it's going to get frayed, and then you have to replace it every season. That one is starting to do now. Another plus side to these lights for this situation, what's great, if it's not, if it wasn't so dang tight, there we go. You just pull it and it lifts your light up. Bad news is, if you do it too short, it doesn't freaking work. Pop that off there to give myself plenty of room, so I start with about 6 feet of it. Light that, pull it, singed, it won't unravel. Then I take the fitting that pops right on the top of the light. It's supposed to screw into the ceiling. We run our end through that hole. There we go. So once through there, leave a little bit of a tail. Sometimes you can get away with the single, but the double works every time. Pull that as tight as you possibly can. Slip it through there. What we're going to do on this rack, go through that hole, pull it up, come over the rack itself. So go down through this hole, and then where we want it sitting, be about there. That way we can go all the way down, clip that on there. When we go to do our knot, we're just going to wrap around once, pull the tail through, cinch that down. We're going to have a little slack there, but that's all right. Pull that as tight as we can. And as we pull this up, the light's going to come up like so. And we're going to go ahead and do this 2 more times, just so that way we know she's pretty. They make it hard to see, but that's kind of what we're going for. I like to set them just above the tags when they're first germinating. It works out perfectly. On the lights that we are using, they do come with a couple of on-off switches. You can also plug these in the timers if you want to. They come with linkable cables. You can actually link 4 of them together. Or if you're feeling ultra fancy, you can come with the plug-in and the pieces to hardwire them if you really want to. I think the hard wiring would work well, but then you got to mess with taking them all apart after you've hardwired them together instead of just being able to just plug and chug to whatever you want to make them do. I run with the regular prefabbed wires, but I have thought about running into the whole hardwiring myself into our mega power outlet there. It's time for completely optional. If you want to spend a little bit of money, you can plug all of these lights into a simple digital timer, because I like to run my lights about 14 to 16 hours a day. So right now I get up about 6 o'clock in the morning, turn these on, and then typically around 9, 10 o'clock at night, they get shut off. I do this manually, but if I had a timer, I wouldn't even have to mess with it. They just turn on and off on their own. But 16 hours is going to give the seedlings a long, consistent day of light and then a little dark period to rest. You can actually pick up a timer for under $15, and it would make it where I don't have to remember. I just set an alarm on my phone to do it myself. The last main piece of this setup is, of course, airflow, and this is where a lot of people run into trouble. My little easy breezy beautiful cover girl there. This is a $20 oscillating fan from Dollar General. It can be raised, it can be lowered. You can turn on the oscillating, you can turn it off. Got 3 settings. Well, for $20, you can keep your airflow good. If we start noticing issues, we'll kick it on. Obviously, right now we're not using it because we're germinating a lot of peppers, greens, and so on and so forth. Now, when I am running it, I keep it on the lowest setting and I aim it so that the air just gently brushes across the seedlings. I don't want them whipping around or getting flattened. I just want to see the leaves barely move. If I want to be able to make all 3 racks go, I can move this back to the extent of the cord itself and turn it on high, and I can actually make all the seedlings on this rack have a little bit of movement to them. If you start getting it too close, you're going to mess your plants up. That gentle movement does do 2 really important things. First, it signals the seedlings to build stronger stems because they're constantly flexing just a little bit. Second, it helps dry the surface of the soil so you're not creating a wet, stagnant environment where fungus loves to grow. And where fungus loves to grow, that's where you see fungus gnats. And here shortly, we'll have a video on how to deal with them. Most dampening off issues and mold problems can be prevented with good airflow and not overwatering, instead of turning to synthetic fungicides. This $20 fan is a huge part of keeping this setup synthetic free. The fan does help, but it's not a cure-all. Make sure you're definitely paying attention to your watering. And once seeds do emerge, let that soil dry out almost to the point where they're going to start wilting, and that'll help the most with dampening off fungus, gnats, all of that. Let's zoom out for a second. I've got a sturdy Rural King rack in a 70-degree laundry room. Cheap Amazon LED lights hung with paracord and a couple inches above the plants. A little Dollar General fan keeping the air moving. Nothing here is fancy, but together it creates a really stable environment. And that's the whole secret to strong, healthy seedlings. Stable temperature, enough light, and good airflow. When you give your plants that from day one, you don't have to lean on synthetic chemicals later to fix problems. The plants are starting off strong. That's my small space grow rack. a budget laundry room seed starting tour. If you're working with a tiny area or you're just getting started and you don't want to drop a bunch of money on gear, I hope this shows you what's possible with some simple, affordable tools, a little bit of ingenuity, and maybe a little more work, but we all got to start somewhere. If you're dealing with leggy seedlings or molding issues, drop a comment and tell me what your setup looks like. I'm happy to help you troubleshoot. And if you want to see exactly what I'm starting under these lights and how I start seeds step by step, I've made a whole playlist for our 2026 garden game plan. Check that out next. Thanks for hanging out with me in the laundry room today, and I'll see you in the next one.